Hello, everyone. It is October, and we are diving into dark entities and spirits for this month. I've already made a few videos, so if you want to check them out, go ahead. They'll be in the description box below. And for those who don't know me, I am Jenn Scott, a modern alchemy mentor. I teach women, moms, and healers how to up-level their healing practice by learning how to clear advanced energy blocks from the subconscious. So today we are going to cover a range of topics from disembodied spirits to demonic entities, astral fragments, and Archon Reptilians. So let's start with disembodied spirits, okay? So a disembodied spirit is the spirit of a person after their physical body has died. So these spirits often feel the negative emotions that they experienced during their life and may choose to stay earthbound, typically lingering, hanging out in places where they felt the most love, comfort, or security. So a spirit typically stays earthbound for, a variety of reasons, including unfinished business, not wanting to leave loved ones behind, or simply not realizing that they have even passed, especially if the death was sudden or traumatic. So there can be a fear of crossing over as well, especially if the spirit believes they will be judged for actions they took while alive. Okay, so this could be some religious programming as well. So these spirits may create disturbances or attempt to communicate with the living, often just to seek resolution or find peace, or they want help crossing over. Now, let's talk about astral fragments, okay? So when a person passes, their spirit generally moves into the light, but their astral body, which is composed of their thoughts and emotions, breaks down and dissolves. And in some cases, parts of this astral body crystallizes into fragments, and these remain on the earthly plane. Now, these fragments are particularly drawn to people with the same energetic patterns, right? So, for example, if a person was an addict, their astral fragment may seek out someone with similar cravings to feed off that energy. So clearing these fragments can help people release patterns of addictions and break free from energies that are not their own. Okay, now let's jump into demonic entities. Okay, so unlike disembodied spirits, demonic entities are darker, right? More malicious forces. These entities feed off fear, anger, and negative energy. And they often target people in states of emotional turmoil. So they may cause emotional manipulation, heightened destructive behaviors like addiction or induce violence tendencies. Demonic entities are more powerful in a sense and can significantly influence an individual's thoughts and actions and overall their energy field. So proper identification and clearing of these entities are actually absolutely essential for restoring that emotional and spiritual well-being. This is why I'm doing a breakdown of different entities, because in order to clear them, you need to actually ID them. You can't just say, entity, leave my space. I mean, for low-level entities, that might work. But when you're dealing with more complex, darker energies, you really need to be able to identify what type of entity you're dealing with before you can clear it, release it, okay? And lastly, today I wanted to talk about Archon Reptilians. Okay, so now these are more like parasitic entities that exist to maintain control over the human consciousness by feeding on suffering and keeping individuals in lower vibrational states. So archons reptilians influence fear, chaos, limitations, often on a collective level, keeping people from accessing their own higher potentials. Okay, so these entities are very manipulative and require a strong multidimensional approach to clear their influence. Okay, they want to keep humanity asleep so they can maintain that control over the human collective. So it's really vital to reclaim your sovereignty when dealing with such forces and to continue to try to raise your vibrational frequency to avoid their reach. I believe it's at about 420 hertz where these types of energies can no longer affect you or reach you in a sense. Until you dip back down into lower vibrational frequencies. If, you know, something happens in your life and you have emotional turmoil, and you hang out in that lower frequency for too long, that creates cracks and tears in your auric field, and that's how we attract these types of energies. So there's all kinds of symptoms that you can actually have when you have an entity attachment. They can manifest through psychic attacks, increased addictions, emotional instability, even intuitive blockages. So you might even experience weight changes or feelings of anger. Unworthiness is really common, and sudden fatigue. And these attachments drain your energy and may interfere with your spiritual connection. So identifying the type of entity and the root cause of why those entities were able to attach to you in the first place, whether that's trauma, offensive energy, negative beliefs, is essential for successful clearing. This clearing entities requires more than just a simple command for them to leave. You must ID them, what kind of entity you're dealing with. You have to clear the root cause of the attachments. You need to check for open negative portals, wormholes, vortexes, gateways, right? That allowed the entity to enter your energy field. So once all of that is cleared, then it's crucial for the client to then change their own behaviors that attracted this type of energy into their lives in the first place. Okay? So we need to adjust our energy patterns so we can clear the energetic charge behind the attachments, but ultimately the client also needs to be a part of their healing journey and stop doing the things that keep these entities coming back, right? So we can, as practitioners, we can help with the clearing, but the client must take responsibility for their own healing and transformation. So in this time of spiritual evolution, it's really important to reclaim our power and sovereignty over these energies. And some people remain stuck in a cycle of victimhood, using their attachments as excuses to avoid that self-growth. Okay, they're really stuck in that victim mentality, and this leads to repeated suffering until they're ready to face those lessons and take back control of their energy. I actually recently worked with a client who had to learn, their spiritual lesson was to learn how to empower themselves over these types of intrusions. And until they do so, they are going to continue to attract the same entities and energy patterns. All right, so thank you for joining me today on this dive into dark entities and spirits. And if you want to learn how to release entities and take control of your energy, please check out my course, Quantum Alchemy Codes. This is where I teach how to clear these types of energies at an advanced level. And if you resonated with this video, please do like and subscribe.